Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on into another exciting episode, another exciting day of fantasy football, gearing into this week one, and as always, we got some fantasy stuff to talk about because it's finally that time, and you're tuning in to Fantasy Daily with me here, your host, NathanPaswell. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. We have got the week one sleeper show tonight. So this is the show kind of designed, maybe if you have some people kind of, under the radar, you got your start sit questions, maybe some players that we're not talking about, or maybe some reach grabs, some streamers that we can grab early on in the week. So this is the week one sleeper show. We're basically just buying time till we get to that Thursday and we can finally start rolling in, because 1 week from today, we're doing waiver show. So very excited for this show, the way that we're going to kick this week off. And we're basically, we're going to cover the hot points of news. We're not going to cover everything of news because, like I said yesterday, within week one, there's always that situation where people just kind of give you any information they can. We're all excited that football is back. So it's basically just information overload. There's a lot of information that just has nothing to do with anything. Pretty sure I got 4 to 5 notifications this morning about Philip Lindsay going to the practice squad. What do I care about the practice squad of Indianapolis Colts who have Jonathan Taylor? I do not care. So massive amounts of information pouring in that I absolutely don't care about, stuff that you're going to have to weed through, what's important, what's not. So I'll try to drop those on the show if I do deem them important and think that you guys need to know, and if you want to carry it with you as you go. But nothing special today. We got Dameon Pierce listed as the running back 1 in Houston. Finally, we knew that was coming. We got Mitch Trubisky listed as a QB 1 in Pittsburgh, if you missed that. People seem to be pretty divided there. I'm kind of up in the air. I could really care less. I trust Mike Tomlin if that's what he sees, whatever he wants to do, whether or not he wants Pickett to work for it or whoever. I don't really care. I trust Mike Tomlin. But fire up your Najee Harris because Mitch Trubisky's coming in. So fire up your Najee Harris and be wary of your Steelers wide receivers. I would not play, probably outside of Deontay Johnson, I'd be very wary of Chase Claypool. So we'll talk about that more when we get later on into the week. But let us talk about the week one sleeper show and what this is designed to do. So now we can go in and we can pick out a bunch of sleepers. We can pick out people that we like. But what I thought we'd do is something a little fun where we build an actual roster. So you got your quarterback, your 3 wide receivers, your 2 running backs, tight end, kicker, and defense. So I'm going to give you today a player from each of those positions that really aren't in the top consideration. Maybe they're in your start sits or maybe they're in the streamer category. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts on those, as well as kind of giving them the nudge forward that I do believe that they are a good start this week and that, you should be finding a way to work them into your lineup. So, being that we have so many players to go through, let us get right into it with my first pick, which is quarterback, which you follow me on TikTok. You might have already seen this little bit of hype train this morning, but we are talking about Matt Ryan, the Indianapolis Colts quarterback, who I do believe has a chance to finish this week as the quarterback 1, or at least in the top 5, because he is playing against Houston at Houston, and it is just going to be abysmal. So this is your public service announcement. Fire up the Jay-Z. Because Matt Ryan is about to reintroduce himself. Matty Ice, he's got ice in his veins coming back to a team where he's really had the best lineup and the best team that he's had in, quite some time in recent memory. So I do believe that Matt Ryan is going to get it going this week. He's going to be fired up. He's going to be firing passes this week. So I'm very, very excited for Matt Ryan. Very excited for Michael Pittman. And I'm also excited to watch what Alec Pierce does, because I do believe that Alex Pierce is a name that not enough people are talking about, and he could be the number 2 on this team. They seem to have a rapport a little bit in camp. I don't think anybody's pushing Michael Pittman out of the way, but I do believe that there is going to be some sort of Alec Pierce and Matt Ryan connection there that we can see. So keep an eye on Alec Pierce, but as far as Matt Ryan goes, he's ranking outside the 15 and 20 for most outlets, or inside the 15 and 20, for most outlets that I've looked into today, and I have him ranked at quarterback 7 this week. So I know that's pretty high, especially given the fact that there's so many good quarterbacks this week, but I just absolutely love the fact that Matt Ryan is playing at Houston inside, ready to go, ready to fire back up, and he's got one of the best teams that he's ever played with. So I'm very excited for Matt Ryan this week. He is my quarterback sleeper for the week on the quarterback sleeper team. Let us get into our first of 2 running backs, and we are going to be talking about Tony Pollard. Now, I know this is a little bit of a stretch, especially seeing as they're playing against Tampa Bay, and it's very scary. When you look at last season, Tampa Bay was ranked 3rd against the run. So Tony Pollard, I'm not putting him into this category as a running back and saying, okay, I think he has the rushing upside. I believe that Tony Pollard is going to play that slot role that Jerry Jones and the team has been teasing. And Mike McCarthy is one of those people who really at this point, one of those coaches at this point, he really needs to make something work because he might not make it the season if he does not. So I believe that with that, you're going to see the skill positions out there a lot. You're going to see people like Tony Pollard who can make a difference a lot. So I do believe that Tony Pollard is going to be heavily utilized in this game. Tampa Bay extremely good against the run, so I think Zeke is going to have a little bit of trouble. I think Zeke's going to start getting off to a poor start. I think the odds of that are high. But with Pollard moving into the slot, as they've said, he is going to be on the field more, and I think this is a game where you can really see him get used as relief a lot. I think his snap count will be very high. Like I said, I think Mike McCarthy is going to keep players like that on the field because Mike McCarthy really needs to make something work. So if he loses to Tampa the first game of the year, Jerry Jones is not going to be happy, and he's going to be on the hot seat almost immediately. So I think that it's going to be a fire drill for, Mike McCarthy, whatever we can do, and Tony Pollard is going to be one of those guys who's going to be extremely reliable for Dak to kind of lean on, and I think he is going to have to lean on that. Now, I do believe that CD has a great game as well. I believe that CD, and he's going to be, kind of the de facto. If you have Dalton Schultz, you roll him out. But I think that CD is going to be very good in this game, and I think that Tony Pollard is going to be a benefactor. I do believe that he has an easy chance to finish the week over Zeke because of the fact that he can catch the ball. So if he's catching 6 receptions with a chance at a touchdown, he's going to be in the top 15 of running back consideration this week. So I do believe that Tony Pollard went late in drafts, sitting on a lot of benches. I've gotten a lot of the questions this week. Should I start this guy? Should I start this guy? And Tony Pollard's been in a few of them already. And I haven't gone Tony Pollard on all of them, but I am looking at Tony Pollard saying, this is somebody you can slot in this week, and I do believe that you're going to get the return on value there. Even though you're looking at Tampa Bay as, you can't rush against that team. Tony Pollard's not playing the running back role. And even if he is, he's doing it at a limited capacity. I believe that he will play in the slot. I believe he will get in those screen routes and things designed for him to get the ball in his hand because they love him over there. He is the Swiss Army knife, as they said, and they do like him over there on the field quite a bit, and I do believe that that's what you're going to see. Big snap count. Alrighty, moving on. Football from my friends. Thank you so much, my TikTok friends. If you guys are watching tomorrow's episode tonight, you kind of got the gangster lean on the camera going on. I don't know what happened there. I apologize for that. My man with the footballs, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the love. Hope y'all are following me on this because we do this every single night on TikTok, every single day on YouTube. So you guys on TikTok, you're watching tomorrow's episode tonight. If you don't get the full episode, you can check it out on YouTube. But I appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. Let us get right into my second running back, and we are talking about somebody who I just can't shut up about. And I understand, I get it, it's one of those players where it's like, all right, how many times are we going to go around this carousel with these? But I don't believe that we have really gone around the carousel with Rashad Penny. As much as we look at him as the injury concern, I am not betting on injury. So I see a lot of outlets out there, a lot of times that I'll look at videos on TikTok or I'll listen to people talking on YouTube and stuff like that, and they're almost preparing for injury. Now, Rashad Penny, I get it, he has the consistency of injury, but if we're going to grab CMC at the 102, right? If we're going to grab CMC at the 102 and talk about injury, Rashad Penny in the 9th round or whatever it would be, there's no risk averse there at all. So Rashad Penny, he looks to be the clear-cut guy. They've already said he is the clear-cut back. I know I've been talking about him a lot, and it's probably, if you follow the show and listen to me all the time, stop talking about Rashad Penny, but he was the number 1 weeks 14 through 18 last year. He won me a fantasy championship. He won some people fantasy championships, and I do believe that Pete Carroll, like we've said, is going to be super loyal to Rashad Penny like he was to Chris Carson. We're looking at Rashad Penny the whole time going, hey, you can put him as your running back 1. Chris Carson kept getting the start. It's deja vu with Kenneth Walker. So if you really are looking at Kenneth Walker as being that guy, I think you're going to have to wait on it. And I do believe that Rashad Penny is going to be the guy, barring injury. So obviously if you have Kenneth Walker, if you're worried about the injury concern with Rashad Penny, hang on to him. But I think if you're hanging on to him thinking that he's going to push Rashad Penny out of the way by talent alone, I don't see that coming just because of Pete Carroll alone. He is super loyal, and he's going to play his guys until he can't no more, just like he did with Chris Carson, leaving Rashad Penny back there. So I do like Rashad Penny a lot, and I do believe that he is going to be a massive upside this week. Let us talk about that matchup because he is going against Denver, which is gross, and you don't want to play anything against Denver. So this pick for me here is strictly volume based, right? So I really think that this matchup, when you look at it at face value, it's very bad. Denver playing at Seattle starting Geno Smith, it's going to look abysmal. It's not going to look great. It's going to be ugly. If you have Denver defense, fire them up. But I really do believe that Rashad Penny has the highest chance to finish this week with basically the most touches almost in the league at the running back position. I believe that he will be able to touch the ball like 30 times this game when it comes between handoffs, between dump-offs. It looks like he's going to get the entire workload. We're not sure if Kenneth Walker is going to play yet. So I do believe that volume alone, Rashad Penny is going to be at least a flex play this weekend or running back 2, depending on how deep your league format is. But I've gotten a lot of questions. Do I start this guy or Rashad Penny? I would go with Rashad Penny this week because I'm very excited for his upside. So the two that we've mentioned together, Tony Pollard and Rashad Penny, I would rather go Rashad Penny just off the volume alone. I do believe that he has the chance to get 6 to 7 dump offs, see what he can do after the fact, but I do believe that he's going to get handed off the ball quite a bit. And as much as we don't love it, they are the number 1 rushing offense in the league. They will continue to be so, especially with their awful quarterbacks that they have going over there. So volume alone, I don't expect him to finish, anticipate him to finish top 5, but I'm not ruling out a top 15 or maybe even a top 10 finish for Rashad Penny because he's going to get that volume, and volume is key. Rule of necessity is key, so he doesn't have to be on a great team in order to put up great fantasy value. So I'm very excited for Rashad Penny and what he can do this week, especially where you drafted him. So far we got Matt Ryan, we got Tony Pollard, and Rashad Penny. Let us move into the 3 wide receivers that we have this evening for you on the Sleeper Show for week 1. And it's going to be a good name because we had him on the Sleeper Show throughout the season. If you guys follow any outlets or anything like that, you know we've talked about this one player quite a bit. And we've been kind of, propping him up as the number 1 sleeper of the year at the wide receiver position. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Gabe Davis, a member of our 2022 sleeper class here at Fantasy Daily, and I believe that he is going to start off with a bang because last year we saw him explode in the playoffs. His 2020 season fantasy box score, if you look it up, not great, but if you look at his playoff box score, absolute menace, kind of sealed him in as the number 2 wide receiver on Buffalo. He's currently the number 2 on the depth chart and in our hearts because we love Stephon Diggs. So Thursday night's kicking off the season. He gets to play against the Rams, but kicking off the season, he plays against them, and this is really kind of the, hey, we should have been in the Super Bowl with you guys. So they're really coming out for blood. They want to make a statement. They want to say, hey, we should have been in that game, and not only that, but we should be, we should be the ones with the patch on our chest this morning, or this evening coming into this game, not you guys over there. So Buffalo really has a chip on their shoulder. Obviously, they got Stephon Diggs, Mr. 1000. He's always going to get it done. He'll have a good game, but he does play against corner Jalen Ramsey, which I do believe that he's going to draw the coverage of Jalen Ramsey almost all game. So Stephon Diggs, you're still firing him up. He's still going to be super efficient, but I do expect this to be a high-scoring game. So if Jalen Ramsey is on Stephon Diggs, there's going to be certain times during the game where that side of the field is locked up, and Josh Allen is going to have to go to his de facto number 2, who can get it done, and that is Gabe Davis. So I'm almost guaranteeing a touchdown for Gabe Davis this week. Very excited for him, and I think that his chance to get, 5 or 6 targets easy, that's his floor. Like, I don't think there's a reality where he doesn't get at least 6 targets this weekend. So put him in your slot, put him in your wide position 2. Whatever you do, get him in your lineup, and it is nice to have a player on Thursday. That way you can see kind of what's going on into the weekend. So I do like to have one player, depending on who it is, on Thursdays to kind of see where I'm looking at for my position-wise and whatnot going into the Sunday slate. So you get that. You get Gabe Davis. Got a lot of confidence in him. Very excited to start him. Let us move on to my next wide receiver. We got DJ Moore, and I know it is not one of those bright buzz names, but DJ Moore gets to play against Cleveland week 1, and he's got Baker Mayfield. So let's hope Baker Mayfield wakes up feeling dangerous because he is playing his former team at home. Cleveland defense is beatable, and especially when you've been practicing against them for the last few years. So I do think that DJ Moore himself is an underlooked fantasy value for this season. I do believe that Baker Mayfield is going to lean on him quite a bit, and I'm very excited to see that kind of connection because DJ Moore, we have seen, can carry the heavy workload. So if you have one quarterback who's just peppering him with targets, DJ Moore is going to be a super undervalue in the draft. he's going to be super, useful for your team week in and week out if that connection continues, which I do believe it will. I mean, if it happens and it continues, which I do believe it will. I believe that's one that Baker Mayfield can sustain. And let's hope that DJ Moore, Baker Mayfield wakes up feeling dangerous again and he goes after DJ Moore early and often, which I think he will, because he's really going to want to go in there and, kind of make Cleveland sad that they let him go. He's going to want to look good, and I think Carolina's going to do what they can to make sure that he can. Whether or not it's 15 slant routes to DJ Moore, I don't care as long as I get the point. So even if Baker Mayfield's not, what you want him to be on Carolina, they're going to try to get DJ Moore, and, their skill players the ball early and often, and like I said, often. So very excited for DJ Moore this weekend. I've gotten a lot of start-sit questions for him. I think he's one that you need to get into your lineup, especially if you're looking at a 3-wide receiver league. With a flex, I would absolutely need DJ Moore in my lineup if that were the case, because he has upside. So being that I'm in a 3-wide receiver league, I know that I can kind of take a little bit of hit if he only gives me like 8 to 10 points because I have strength elsewhere. So I like that upside. That's why I would be playing him. Sip time. I did not expect that to be an audible sip. I apologize. Moving on to my 3rd wide receiver for today, and we are talking about Adam Thielen. So the same argument that we used with Stephon Diggs and the Bills and Gabe Davis and all that, we are going to apply it here just a little bit, because Justin Jefferson is going to get his due. Justin Jefferson's going to be a stud. He's going to be top on the week, but he draws the coverage of Jair Alexander on the Green Bay Packers. So this will at least create some opportunity for Adam Thielen, and historically, who has hotter starts than Adam Thielen? There's just some things that are synonymous with week 1 and early on in the season. Sammy Watkins has a great week 1. Adam Thielen has a hot start. So Adam Thielen, I anticipate him to keep it going with the hot starts. I think that he is, as well, another player that we've been talking about a lot in the offseason, where we're really not looking at him as this kind of big, wide receiver target that we need to get. But I've been drafting him in basically every single one of my leagues. He was the number 1 wide receiver for the first few weeks of the year. I think it was the first 7 weeks of last year. He was the number 1 wide receiver. So Justin Jefferson obviously turned it on. We love Justin Jefferson. J-Jet's going to keep getting it done. He's amazing. But Adam Thielen, don't forget about Adam Thielen, because he is a super consistent target. Kirk Cousins loves him. And with Justin Jefferson drawing the coverage of Jair Alexander this week, I do believe that Adam Thielen is somebody that you want in your lineups, and he is in my lineups in quite a few leagues because I drafted him everywhere. And I'm very excited for Adam Thielen to be in my flex spot, my flex or my wide receiver spot this weekend, depending on your league format. So I'm very excited. Roll Adam Thielen on out, because if you drafted him at that position, the 9th, you're kind of looking at, do I start him or this guy? You drafted Adam Thielen to be that guy. Make that claim. Go ahead and throw him out there, because I do believe that he is going to be pretty efficient this week. So very excited for Adam Thielen. Moving on to my tight end, we only got a few more picks for you, which is perfect because we want to keep that show in that half-an-hour bubble. So if you guys are on TikTok, or if this is the first time you're joining me on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube and like and follow on TikTok and all that stuff, because I do a show every single day and I do my best to keep it down to a half an hour. A lot of other shows go for an hour and 45 minutes. It's a bunch of dudes hanging out in their one little screen, and they're, you can listen to them breathe for 25 minutes of the broadcast. This is half an hour. We keep it short, we keep it condensed, keep the information that you want, and we keep it rolling. So let's keep it rolling with Gerald Everett, my tight end pick of the week. And the reason I picked this is because we're going to only basically talking about streamers all year, because tight end is such a crapshoot, and it's so difficult for you to find a tight end that I really do my best every single week to kind of go and grab deep down in the waiver wires or whatever it may be, to try to find somebody that may be on your waiver wire but also have potential. So Gerald Everett for the Chargers. They play Las Vegas this week. And Las Vegas was absolutely abysmal against tight end last year. They allowed the second most yards for and the second most touchdowns to tight ends. So while there is an entirely new regime change on the Raiders, I do expect them to get off to a rocky start. You still can regroup when you have Gerald Everett under Justin Herbert, and it's going to be really difficult for you to try to regroup and really get yourself calibrated week 1 against somebody like Justin Herbert inside your division. So there is sure to be a lot that goes wrong there, and I do believe that somebody like Justin Herbert will will make them pay, especially if they are, still that bad against the tight end. So we reach down a little bit. We look at Gerald Everett. He is the clear-cut number one that they want at tight end. They didn't play him at all this preseason because they know he's the guy. We're going to roll with him going forward. So not much hype for him out of camp, but he is definitely the de facto number one. And when you're clawing at the bottom of the tight end pool and there's really nothing down there, you're kind of grabbing whatever you can. There's really not much you can, hope for besides a few receptions and a touchdown. And I think Gerald Everett fits into that off the waiver wire or deep in the, deep in kind of the reaches of anybody who could do that. I do believe him out of anybody has the potential to get that touchdown and those few receptions to kind of keep you above water. Moving on to my kicker of the week, and these are all kind of lame. We all know that kickers is a difficult one to predict. It's hard, so you kind of just look at the scoring matchup. But this one I feel pretty confident about. He's on a lot of waivers, actually, which I looked at, which was pretty funny. Brandon MC Manus. We are talking about Brandon McManus, MC Manus. Are you kidding me, man? Russell Wilson and his whole team versus his old team at home week 1? McManus is going to be active, man. Wilson is going to be throwing that ball down the field. He is going to be making himself known. He is going to be making himself look at me. This is what happens when you let Russell Wilson cook. So Brandon McManus is going to be getting them field goals if they get stopped short, which we'll see. And he's also going to be getting a lot of extra points and stuff like that. So I love Brandon McManus this week. I think that he has a lot of potential to finish as the kicker number one, which is a stupid stat to actually go through, but some of you like it out there and it's fun to do. So let's say that Brandon MC Manus is the number one kicker of the week due to the fact that he is going to be extremely active. Now, let us talk about two defenses who I actually saw them both under 50% rostered, which was pretty weird for me. I don't know if that means there's a ton of leagues out there that play without a defense, but I saw that both of these were under 50% rostered, so I thought I'd throw them in there as a streamer just in case, just because you can always get that slight edge. So if you play with an IDP, a kicker, or a defense, never forget that they can be an edge. Don't forget about those. If you're looking at wide receivers, if you're looking at running backs on the waiver wire every single week, don't forget about kicker and defense because they can be a slight edge. I check those usually a week ahead of time. I check those always because you can grab some really great defenses that nobody grabbed. Like the Bills' defense is probably on your waiver wire because their first 2 weeks are absolutely abysmal, but after that, their schedule clears up and they're one of the best defense. So real quick, another sip time. Moving on to the defenses to talk about, and I got two for you. So let's start off first with Denver. Like I said, they get Seattle. They're playing Geno Smith, and this defense is really going to beat them up. So Denver is really not widely owned right now in certain leagues. Very excited for the fact that you can pick them up, and I do believe that they, if anybody's going to give you a touchdown, might be Geno Smith. Might be the Denver Broncos getting a free one from Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks. So with all the issues that are going on there, I do believe that that is a great defense to stream. And it said like 42% rostered for Denver, which was odd to me. But hey, if they're out there, then, the stats say that they're out there, so go ahead and take a look. And then my next defense pick is Indianapolis. They are probably unowned, but they were they're probably owned in your league, but they were 41% rostered, only 41% rostered when I went and checked, which was odd to me as well. But if they are out there, Indy gets Davis Mills to start the season in Houston, at home, in the Dome, and that's just mean. I don't know who put Davis Mills against the Colts week 1, but that's just mean. That's not nice at all. So Indy is going to absolutely destroy Davis Mills. Davis Mills might even give him a couple free ones, so definitely think that you can go ahead and scoop up both of those, slot them into your your defense or your kicker position, wherever it may be. And like I said, don't forget about those positions. They could really make or break you that 5 extra points or whatever that gets you over the hump. So keep an eye on that. Stay water. Me personally, I never really roster a defense or a kicker throughout the entire year. I think in one league I have Tyler Bass. I'll probably hang on to them. But besides that, I enjoy streaming kicker and defense and kind of chasing what you can for the week because it's easier to predict those than it is predict a wide receiver and stuff like that. So let us read back through my week 1 sleeper team. We got Matty Ice putting the public service announcement out there, reintroducing himself as the quarterback for the Colts. We got Tony Pollard at running back, Rashad Penny at running back. We got wide receivers, Gabriel Davis, DJ Moore, Adam Thielen, tight end Gerald Everett, Brandon MC Manus, and Indy and Denver for your defenses. You can probably throw these guys all into your roster. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a good week 1, and I am so very excited. So if you guys have been tuning in to me, thank you so much follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. I have to go make sure that I get tomorrow's show out of the way. So very excited for that. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Good night.